The crystal chandeliers of the Grand Ballroom cast a warm glow over the city's elite as they mingled at my mother's annual charity gala. I adjusted the black apron of my server's uniform, carefully balancing a tray of champagne flutes while navigating between clusters of designer gowns and tuxedos. My mother had insisted I make myself useful, since I wasn't really part of the social circle anymore. The venue, Maxwell House, was the city's most prestigious event space. A restored 19th-century mansion with marble floors, gilt-edged mirrors, and a reputation for hosting only the most exclusive gatherings. Tonight, it was filled with the familiar faces of my former social circle, all here to support my mother's favorite cause, children's education. "Another glass, dear," my mother called out, waving her empty champagne flute. She wore a designer red gown that probably cost more than what she thought I made in a year. Next to her, my sister Amanda beamed in her custom-made silver dress, showing off her enormous engagement ring to anyone who would look. "Coming, mother," I replied, making my way through the crowd. As I approached, I could hear Amanda's voice, pitched to Carrie. "It's really for the best," she was saying to her fiancé, loud enough for nearby guests to hear. Sophia always was more comfortable with service positions. Remember that summer job she had as a barista? This suits her perfectly. I kept my face neutral as I collected their empty glasses. My phone buzzed in my apron pocket, probably another update about tomorrow's board meeting. I'd have to check it later. "Oh, Sophia," my mother sighed, examining my simple black uniform. "I do wish you'd reconsider your lifestyle choices. The Thompson family is looking for someone to manage their charitable foundation. Small, of course, but it would be a start. Better than whatever it is you're doing now." I suppressed a smile. The Thompson Foundation managed barely $2 million in annual giving. My latest project had just allocated $50 million to build 3 new schools. "I'm comfortable with my choices, Mother," I said quietly, replacing her glass with a fresh one. "Comfortable?" Amanda scoffed. "You live in that tiny apartment, you take the bus everywhere, and you won't even tell us what you actually do for work. It's embarrassing." My phone buzzed again. This time I did check it, seeing a message from my executive director. "Final paperwork complete. Announcement in 10 minutes. At least pretend to be professional," my sister snapped. "Phones away while serving." I slipped the phone back into my pocket, noting the time. The gallery room would be opened in exactly 9 minutes, revealing the foundation's new educational initiative. My mother had no idea she was about to announce a $100 million commitment to city schools, funded entirely by my foundation. "Speaking of professional," my mother lowered her voice, "several guests have commented on your appearance. Couldn't you have done something with your hair? Put on some makeup." I touched my simple ponytail self-consciously. I'd been in board meetings since 6 a.m., reviewing quarterly allocations and finalizing the venue purchase. There hadn't been time for much else. "The help should be invisible, dear," she continued, not calling attention to themselves. The charity director, Mr. Patterson, caught my eye from across the room and gave a slight nod. "Right on schedule. Ladies and gentlemen," his voice carried through the ballroom. "If I could have your attention, please. We have a very special announcement about the future of Maxwell House and our city's educational initiatives." My mother straightened, preening. This was her moment, or so she thought. "The waiting staff can clear glasses during the announcement," she whispered to me. "Quietly, please." "Actually, Mother," I said softly, "I think I'll stay for this." "Sophia," she hissed. "Don't embarrass me. Go do your job." "As you all know," Mr. Patterson continued, "Maxwell House has been the heart of our city's charitable community for generations. Tonight, we're thrilled to announce that this beloved venue has been purchased by the city's largest philanthropic organization." A murmur went through the crowd. My mother's eyes widened with concern. She hadn't been informed of this. "Furthermore," he went on, "this same foundation has committed $100 million to revolutionize our city's educational system." Gasps filled the room. My mother clutched her pearls, whispering frantically to Amanda about their gala venue being sold without their knowledge. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the owner of the Anderson Foundation and our city's leading philanthropist." My sister grabbed my arm. "Shouldn't you be clearing tables? This is important." I gently removed her hand, smoothing my apron as Mr. Patterson finished his introduction. Please welcome the owner of the largest philanthropic foundation in the city. I took a step forward, a small smile playing at my lips. That would be me. The champagne glass slipped from my mother's fingers, shattering on the marble floor in the sudden silence. The sound of breaking glass echoed through the ballroom. My mother's face had gone pale, while Amanda's mouth hung open in a most unladylike fashion. Around us, the crowd shifted, designer shoes crunching on broken crystal as guests turned to stare. There must be some mistake, my mother said weakly. Sophia she's just a... The founder and CEO of the Anderson Foundation, Mr. Patterson finished smoothly, joining me at the front of the room, which, as of this morning, has officially acquired Maxwell House as part of its expanded community initiative. I removed my server's apron, handing it to a wide-eyed actual staff member. Beneath it, my simple black uniform was actually a tailored Chanel dress, understated but unmistakably expensive. This is ridiculous, Amanda sputtered. She takes the bus. She lives in that tiny apartment. She can't even afford. The Anderson Foundation, Mr. Patterson continued, his voice carrying over my sister's protests, currently manages assets exceeding $4.2 billion, making it the largest philanthropic organization in the city's history. The projector screens around the ballroom came to life, displaying the foundation's portfolio. Dozens of schools built, thousands of scholarships funded, millions in medical research grants. Each slide showed project after project that I had personally overseen. That's impossible, my mother whispered, gripping Amanda's arm. We would have known. My phone buzzed again. I checked it openly this time, no longer playing the role of invisible server. Excuse me, I said, I need to take this. It's the governor's office about tomorrow's education summit. The crowd parted as I stepped away to take the call. Behind me, I could hear the whispers spreading. She's that Anderson? The one who funded the new children's hospital? I heard she donated $50 million to clean energy research. My daughter got one of her foundation's STEM scholarships. When I returned, Mr. Patterson was showing slides of the foundation's latest projects. My mother had sunk into a nearby chair, fanning herself with a program. As I was saying, I addressed the room, my voice clear and professional. Maxwell House will become the new headquarters of our educational initiative. We'll be establishing a learning center in the East Wing, offering free advanced placement courses to underprivileged students. But what about our gala venue? Amanda demanded, her voice shrill. Where will we host our charity events? You're welcome to continue using the ballroom, I said calmly. At standard rates, of course, though you might find them a bit higher than before. A distinguished-looking man in his 60s stepped forward, the dean of the city's most prestigious private school. Ms. Anderson, I had no idea. We've been trying to reach the foundation about our scholarship program. If I'd known you were right here in our community. Check your email, Dean Williams, I smiled. The approval for full funding came through this morning. More people were pressing forward now. The hospital board chairman, the university president, directors of various charities. All had proposals, all had been trying to reach me through official channels. My mother and sister watched in stunned silence as I handled each inquiry with practiced ease, quoting figures and referencing projects that made it clear this was far from new to me. But why didn't you tell us? My mother finally managed, her voice small. Why did you let us think? Would it have mattered? I asked quietly. 3 months ago I mentioned funding a new library. You told me to stop pretending to understand big business. Last Christmas I tried to discuss educational reform. You said I should leave charity to the professionals. Amanda stepped forward, her engagement ring catching the light. But all those times we offered to help you, to find you a real job. I have a real job, I replied. Several, actually. The foundation is just one of them. Would you like to hear about my tech company? The Research Institute? The renewable energy patents? Mr. Patterson cleared his throat. Ms. Anderson, the press is waiting in the library for your statement about the education initiative. Of course, I nodded. Mother, I believe you were planning to announce a $50,000 donation tonight? She nodded weakly. The foundation will match it. Times 1,000. We'll commit $50 million to your chosen cause. I checked my phone again. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to prepare for tomorrow's meeting with the Secretary of Education. As I turned to leave, Amanda grabbed my arm. Wait. All this time, you were just pretending to be poor. I finished for her. No, sister. I was trying to be taken seriously for my ideas rather than my bank account. Something this family never quite managed. I gestured to the room around us. Welcome to my venue, by the way. I hope you'll find the new management professional enough. The crowd parted again as I made my way toward the library, Mr. Patterson at my side with the evening's agenda. Behind me, I could hear my mother's shaky voice. All those times we made her serve drinks, help in the kitchen. She owns the building, Mother, Amanda whispered. She owns everything. I smiled slightly as I pushed open the library doors, where reporters waited with cameras ready. Time to show my family what their waitress could really do. The next morning, I sat in my newly revealed office at Maxwell House, the morning sun streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows. The space had been completely renovated overnight. Modern furnishings replacing the old-world decor, smart screens displaying real-time updates from our global initiatives. My mother's portrait, which had dominated the main wall for decades, had been respectfully relocated to the Heritage Gallery. My executive assistant entered with a tablet. Your mother and sister are here, Ms. Anderson. They've been waiting in the lobby for an hour. Are they? I checked the security feed on my desktop. They looked different today, subdued, almost uncomfortable in their designer clothes. No more confident sneers or dismissive gestures. Give them another 15 minutes. Then show them up. Yes, ma'am. Also, the governor's office confirmed the Education Summit, and the UN Foundation wants to discuss partnership opportunities. I nodded, signing the last documents for our newest initiative. Schedule the UN call for next week. And Sarah? When my family comes up, bring the portfolio files. Exactly 15 minutes later, my mother and sister were escorted in. They looked around the office with wide eyes, taking in the wall of humanitarian awards, the digital displays showing real-time impact metrics, and the scale model of our newest children's hospital. Please sit, I gestured to the chairs across from my desk. They perched uncertainly on the edges like visitors in a foreign country. I assume this isn't a social call? Sophia, my mother began, then stopped, seemingly lost for words. Her usual commanding presence had evaporated. The Thompson Foundation called, Amanda blurted out. They're withdrawing their job offer. Said they didn't want to insult you. Understandable, I replied, typing a quick email. Their entire annual budget wouldn't cover our monthly administrative costs. Why didn't you ever tell us? My mother finally managed. All those years watching you take the bus, work those little jobs. Those little jobs were research, I corrected her. I wanted to understand how real people lived, what they needed. Hard-to-solve problems you've never experienced. My assistant entered with 3 thick folders, placing them on my desk. Your 10:30 is in 5 minutes, Ms. Anderson. Thank you, Sarah. I opened the first folder. Now let's discuss the new arrangement. New arrangement? Amanda asked nervously. Yes. First, Maxwell House. You can continue using it for your events, but there are conditions. I slid across a document. All events must include a significant charitable component. No more social gatherings disguised as fundraisers. And you'll need to partner with legitimate organizations. My mother reached for the paper with trembling hands. But our friends, our social circle, will need to demonstrate real commitment to causes, not just write token checks for tax benefits. I opened the second folder. Which brings us to the Education Initiative. We've always supported education, Amanda protested weakly. You've supported exclusive private schools and legacy admissions, I corrected. Our new program focuses on merit-based opportunities for underprivileged students. If you want to remain involved in city philanthropy, you'll need to embrace actual change. They exchanged glances, decades of social positioning crumbling before their eyes. And if we refuse? My mother asked quietly. I opened the third folder. Then you'll find most charitable boards and social committees suddenly close to you. It's amazing how many organizations the foundation supports, directly or indirectly. Amanda's face crumpled. You'd do that to your own family? Family. I raised an eyebrow. Last night you saw me as staff. Last week I was an embarrassment. Last month. I closed the folders firmly. But I'm willing to offer an opportunity for a fresh start. What kind of opportunity? My mother asked. Learn. Grow. Understand what real charitable work means. Show me you can see beyond social status and actually care about making a difference. I stood up, straightening my suit jacket. I'm not looking for revenge. I'm offering redemption. And the gala venue? Amanda asked in a small voice. Is now a working foundation headquarters that sometimes hosts events. Speaking of which, I checked my watch. I have a meeting about converting the East Wing into classrooms. Sarah will show you out. As they stood to leave, my mother turned back. Sophia, that tiny apartment, was it all just pretense? That tiny apartment is a $4 million penthouse. I smiled slightly. I just never invited you up to the private floors. You were too busy assuming I couldn't afford better. They walked to the door, shoulders slumped, but my mother paused one last time. Are you happy with all of this? I looked around my office at the evidence of real change we'd created, at the messages flowing in from people whose lives we'd touched. Happier than I ever was at your charity galas, Mother. The difference is, now I get to serve something more important than drinks. After they left, I turned to the window looking out over the city. My city in many ways. On my desk, the folders contained detailed plans for genuine charitable initiatives, opportunities for my family to learn and grow if they chose to take them. My phone buzzed. The governor was waiting to discuss education reform. Time to get back to work. The serving days were done. I had a different kind of service to perform now.